So, hello everybody, we're back in my house again, and we're going to have a little chat today about mental health actually.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to let Debbie take it away.
Ooh.
Sorry.
No bother. Yeah, we thought some conversations we've been having recently about women, well, not just women's mental health, just mental health in general and how it can affect us. And I have just come from a marriage where I would work as one of the counsellors. And I suppose in the news lately there's been a lot about suicide and people's mental health and how
Even in this area alone over the past few years, it's been devastating. Like it really has.
There's a real lack. It feels like there's a lack of support. And one of the things that I have found out recently is that sometimes it feels like that, but people aren't aware of where there is places to go.
I know what you mean.
And I suppose I'm hearing more and more from my work is just it feels like nobody's listening. And then when you get the opportunity, I know certainly as a counsellor, when you get the opportunity to tell someone, do you know there's a place here, there's a course going on here, it's like the gift of just a better way of being.
Yeah.
So what we thought we would do today would come back and just even have a chat about some of the things that maybe you could do that if you are concerned about someone. So you'll have to bear with me here because I've got some papers in front of me.
I think you're going to maybe sort of also towards the end probably highlight some sort of classes or places in Lifeline actually itself that you can sort of you can sign up for and attend there too. So.
Yeah. I suppose again using some of my notes here to help us is suicide is one of those things. I was speaking to someone recently and we're talking about how do you support someone who's feeling that, you see some things. So I'm going to look, bear with me again till I get my forms. So you may see that someone is directly talking about suicide, which is very scary. You may feel that someone is feeling suicidal, but you're afraid to ask about suicide. And I know I'm very proud of the fact that I became a CIS trainer.
Just got a certificate this week actually. Do you want to actually just take a wee quick, just explain about CIS actually?
A CIS training is a worldwide recognised training on suicide prevention. That's what? But there's trainers worldwide and we all have to go with the guidelines that are about how you would actually support someone who's feeling suicidal. And I know when I did my training, it was actually, it kind of blew me away because, I've never really had this chat. But the way in life, one of the things that we really look at is first aid. And we think of first aid as, well, we need to know CPR. That's one thing.
The main thing.
Yeah, it's the main thing, CPR. And assist is exactly the same thing. Assist is actually if you are at the point where someone is feeling suicidal, what you can do. So it's a bit like if you had come along to do assist training, and I have done the assist training, and we were to go along the road today, and there was someone standing at a bridge. The thought of it.
I know what you mean.
The thought of it. But with assist, what it helps you do is, if you were ever in that position, is to actually go to the bridge and start to have a conversation with someone. Obviously you're going to be concerned and fearful, but it's about having that conversation in a way where you're looking for the person to invite you in to have a conversation rather than going up and grabbing them. Do you know that kind of stuff? Because then you're in danger and the person's in danger. But with assist training, it would mean that if I got tired having that conversation, because it's exhausting, and depending on how long you'd be there, if you came along, I could say, because you've been assist trained, just like CPR, Shirley, I'm stepping out. Can you take over now? So it's a real worldwide recognition, as I say, but it's amazing. It takes 2 days to do it, of course, because of and it's, the qualification in itself is worthy of it. But yeah, I just got my certificate, so I'm real proud of that, and I'm now one of those trainers. So yeah, I have a real passion about mental health and suicide, and because of the conversations that are happening and the fears that are there, I thought it would be a really good idea just to give you some tips on what you can do. So talking about suicide is actually a really good thing. The way we talk about mental health, the way we would talk, if you had a headache, I'd say, Shirley, you okay? You'd think nothing of saying I have a headache. But I wouldn't, before I did all this, I wouldn't come around and say, after a wee conversation, Shirley, you okay? And if you said no, it could be, Shirley, you feeling suicidal? And all of a sudden, I've opened the question. People have a real fear of it, as I say, but actually to the person, they're quite often glad somebody's asked them, because it lets them hear that it's got that far, and it helps you know that, okay, what can I do next? So that's one of the things, that it's good to actually ask the question. But if you see or hear someone talking about suicide, take it seriously. That's one of the main things. Sometimes we think, oh, they just want attention. No, take it very seriously. If you see someone giving away their possessions, items that are important to them, again, that could maybe draw up the risk factor. Preoccupation with death, talking about what it might look like, feeling maybe trapped in their own life, no hope for the future, or self-soothing or self-hatred maybe going on. Maybe they're getting their own affairs in order. Sometimes you'll hear people saying, well, I don't know what happened there, because they seem to get everything done. They went and got their hair done, they went and done, they've all their bank up, all debt paid off, all that kind of stuff. So even these can be clues. Or the other side of it is hiding away. Saying goodbye to people can be another thing, directly or indirectly. And self-destructive behaviours, taking increased risks or unusual risks, maybe taking more drugs or drink, or being aggressive towards other people. Or the other side of this is true. This is the real difficulty with mental health and suicide, because for every one way, there's another kind of way. So sudden sense of calm or elation, a feeling of calm, nothing to worry about anymore, feeling relieved. So that's some of the risk factors. The advice from all mental health would be to ask direct open questions. When did you start feeling like this? Has something happened to make you feel this way? Are you feeling suicidal? Have you attempted suicide before? Because that would actually highlight a risk again. And the next question is, do you have a plan? For someone who is feeling suicidal, quite often they actually have a plan. They know what they're going to do and when they're going to do it. Have you tried to get help before? What have you tried before? How can I or we help you? So for us in our work with Creative Conversations, it would be, how can we help you? What can we do? And all of these questions can help save a life. Avoid promising that you'll keep everything confidential. Arguing with a suicidal person. Avoid that too. Avoid acting shocked or applying guilt, which is quite common actually. Our natural reaction is, sure, what would you do that for? You've got 2 kids.
I know what you mean.
And I've worked with people who have said when someone said that to them, all that did was pile on more guilt.
I was telling you about a conversation I had a couple of years ago, do you remember? And the person said to me, I know that everybody's looking at me and thinking, how do I not care about my kids? Do you remember? And I was even thinking that. I was even thinking that. Until they said to me, I can't. I'm just not. And I just couldn't. And in that moment and in the conversation with that person, I sort of understood that it didn't matter. People saying about the kids and all the kids and what about your kids? Because of how deep down that person was in that dark place. And
I think that's it. You've just really said the real point of this is suicide is about pain. And most, if not all, people who think of suicide or complete on suicide have actually touched a place of pain that they no longer want to be in. They don't want to die, they just want to end the pain to stop. And that's quite a common thing. I know in my work with working with people who feel suicidal, and I know even personally, having touched pain of my own, there's times in your life where you think, I just can't do this anymore.
I know, I've been there.
And you and I've talked about this before. So it's not something that's away from us. It's always something that's quite close. And I suppose that's the fear that there is for a lot of people is, how will I know? But it's just creating those conversations. Creating the conversations. So avoid making comments such as look on the bright side, because for that person there may not be a bright side. Tell a person that you'll fix their problems. Well, if we get the answer to that, my goodness, there'll be a lot of problems to fix. Don't lecture or say suicide is right or wrong. don't blame ourselves if we lose someone. That's another
very
thing,
big one.
because you can only do what you can do. And I think that the suicide is right or wrong. Even, I mean, in assist, that's one conversation that we would have, that suicide is always an option for some people. Or what we're trying to do through mental health is to actually put more options in there and take away the suicide as an option. But there is an understanding that for some people that will be their option, and we can't save everybody, which is, but the more we can get this word out, the better. So I suppose tell the person that you care about them, that they're not alone, and you'll help them and stay with them until you get help. Now that doesn't mean that you're going to take them home and you're going to do all of this. If help can mean getting in contact with agencies like Lifeline here in Northern Ireland, Samaritans here in Northern Ireland, and in Lisburn we have Emerge, which is a new centre for suicide and self-harm.
Sorry, it's my
and
cat.
here's Tom coming to join us. He always comes to join us. Isn't that lovely? You may not tell the person you care. You may not believe in it now, but things can get better if you can get help. Here is
What's actually happening is my cat has decided.
Tom loves to get in on the action.
This cat gets all the attention in this house from children and everybody. So
another thing you can say is you may not believe it now, but things can get better if you can get help. Take it minutes at a time. Don't get too far ahead, and take small steps. Take it slowly. Quite often, if it's too big to get things better, it can feel overwhelming. But that's true of everything in life, isn't it? So one wee step at a time. And suppose to finish off talking about mental health, one of the things that we thought we would highlight is, I've talked about Lifeline, and the number is 0808 808 8000, and Samaritans is 116123. In Emerge we have here in Lisburn is 028 9244 5060.
I think what we can do is we can sort of, what we'll do under this video is we'll add the phone numbers for those organisations underneath, actually.
Yeah, that would be good, Sterling. And then support that is available face-to-face, say here in Lisburn, we know of Emerge. I'm sure there's other organisations here too that we just haven't got here, but if we can find more, we'll add them in too. Mental health groups in Atlas here in Lisburn. So there's a women's mental health group on a Tuesday night from 6:30 to 8:30, and men's mental health in the same place in Atlas on a Wednesday night from 6:30 to 8:30. Atlas has also got awareness sessions coming up for young adults, Wednesday the 29th of January, and for men 26th of February, for women Wednesday the 25th of March. I've forgotten to take the times down for those, but if you contact Atlas, all of this is contacting Atlas directly. And you know, the other thing actually is that 1 in 4 of us has a mental health illness. So mental health is just an everyday thing. And if you have look around your workforce, look around your families, you will see there's probably more than 4 people, and one of them needs your support. And maybe not be crying out for it. So it's kind of looking at all these risk factors and how to speak to people.
Looking for the signs like you talked about earlier there.
Looking for the signs as well. So I hope that maybe that supports you with maybe helping someone else or your own mental health, to let you know that those. So Emerge again is face to face as well as befriending, and some training from them as well. So what else do I need to say?
I think you covered most stuff there actually.
I know. Well, I hope so, but again, it's just a very brief. I wouldn't like you to think that's everything that to know about.
I think
suicide.
it's just we keep getting wee questions popped across to us there, so this was just really in response to one of those today.
Yeah. And if someone out there is actually in need and would like to get some support, please reach out. It really is okay to talk. It really is. So hopefully this has been useful, and we'll talk to you soon. Thank you.
Thank you guys.
Bye.
Bye.